Good morning. It is Friday. That's so exciting. Although I don't know what Friday means nowadays. Perfect. Good morning, Emily. How are you? Can you hear me okay? Nice. Me too. I am ready for a stretch. I always do a very quick run through of the practice before we start. And I can just feel how tight I am in the mornings when I do that. So it will be good to stretch. It'll be good to work those muscles, open up those hips, because that's definitely what we're doing today with our 3 splits flow. I don't think we've done this one for a while. And I was looking at our videos and we don't have a 3 splits flow on there. So this will be a fun new one for those who are just looking at the recordings. Let's adjust the camera before I forget. Oh, nice. What kind of stretching did you do this morning? What did you do to get all nice and stretched? Why does it feel so hot? I need to move it this way. Here we go. Oh boy. God, nice. I love that. I used to, it's so different because since all the COVID and the shutdowns and everything happened, what was it, back in March, I want to say, I haven't really been to a studio, but I used to do hot yoga all the time. And that's kind of how I lost a lot of weight, because I was doing hot yoga consistently and you sweat a lot of that off and it works you out a lot more. You burn a lot more calories doing hot yoga, and I miss it. This is really good. We create a pretty good sweat, I think, doing this, but I just miss hot yoga. It's good stuff. So I've taken up, I was trying to do running, and there's a trail that's not too far from here, but it was getting really crowded. I think everybody decided that since they couldn't go to gyms and other things as easily, especially around here, because so much has been closed longer, they all decided to take these trails, and yeah, it just got too crowded and I couldn't really do it anymore. Someday. Yes. Yeah, I did it pretty early. In Utah, for a little bit, I was going to one at like, I think I would wake up at like 4, I can't remember, but the class was at 5:30, so I had to wake up really early because I couldn't make the later one. They had another class at 9, and I couldn't make it because it's usually around the time I talk to Scott. And then I started going to another place that was okay, and they had a class at 7, or was it 6? Might have been 6. So I woke up pretty early to go to it. Yeah, which is good. More people are getting out, but it just makes it really hard to enjoy them too, the same way. Because I used to run on that trail all the time, and it's nice. It's a good trail to run on, but it's really hard to run when it's super crowded. That's okay though. So I started doing the elliptical. My parents have an elliptical here, which is okay. I like running outside better, but it still works. I haven't done any this week though, so I'm probably going to do it tomorrow and I will feel it. All right, 7:05. Let's go ahead and get started. So today we're doing 3 splits flow, which means we're doing different splits, mostly standing splits throughout the practice, but we will be doing some floor splits and working our way to a full floor split. We do half splits a lot in our different flows that we do, but today since it's at the end, we'll work on getting our way into full splits. So if you have like a block, like 2 blocks or pillows or something handy, maybe grab those. That will help you as we work into the full splits. And we'll go ahead and get started. So come to your mat. Come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Let me adjust my mat. Somehow it moved. Somehow it just moves. Come to a comfortable seated position. Place your hands on your knees with your palms face up. Bring your shoulders and your spine up over your hips. Roll your shoulders up, back and down, away from your ears. Tuck your chin slightly, close your eyes. And just start to notice your breath without making any changes. Notice how your chest and your belly move up and down. Bring awareness to the space between your upper lip and nose. How does that feel as you're breathing? Take a deep, slow inhale. Hold it. Sigh it out. Again, inhale. Hold it. Sigh it out. One more time, inhale. Take another sip of air. Hold it. Sigh it out. Close your mouth. Start to breathe in and out through your nose, making your inhalations and exhalations the same length. And a slight constriction to the back of your throat. Turn to that Ujjayi breath. That oceanic sound. Let your breath be your focus today. Breathe as you move in and out through your poses. Let it be your focus. Don't move as hard. Go back to your breath. Focus on your breath. Keeping your eyes closed. Bend your head forward, bringing your chin closer to your chest. Let your head hang here. The more you relax your head into the stretch, the more you'll feel it. Bring your head over to the right, lifting that right ear closer to your shoulder. Hang here again. The more you relax, the more you'll feel it. Chin back to chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin back to chest. Right ear to right shoulder. Chin back to chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin back to chest. Lift your head up. Blink your eyes open. Turn your head to the right. Not too hard. You don't want to jerk it. Just turn it slightly. Doing a little bit of stretch here. Come back to center. Turn your head to the left. Come back to center. Place your right fingertips on the mat beside you, reaching your hand away from you. Bend your head to the left. So feel the stretch a little bit stronger, a little bit deeper here. If you want more intense stretch, place your left hand on top of your head. Just giving it that slight weight. Place your hands back to your knees, head back to center. Place your left fingertips on the mat beside you, reaching your hand away. Bring your head to the right ear closer to your shoulder. And if you want, you can place your right hand on top of your head. Making that stretch a little bit more intense. Place your hands back to your knees. Bring your head back to center. Place your hands out in front of you. Flex your hands so that your palms are facing forward, your fingertips are up, and reach your wrists away from you. As you press your wrists forward, you'll feel that stretch more in your wrists. And flip your hands the other way so your palms are facing you and your fingertips are down, and continue to stretch through your wrists. Rotate your hands out 3 times. And in 3 times. Come to a tabletop position. So a tabletop position is a neutral pose here. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders. And your index fingers are pointed forward. And your fingers are spread wide. Knees are under your hips with your feet in back of your knees. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. And start to rock back and forth. Feeling a little bit of stretch in your wrists here again. So you come forward and back. I'm going to go side to side. Turn your hands around so your fingertips are facing you. Rock back and forth again. Now go side to side. Bring your hands forward. Make sure your index fingers are pointed towards the front of the mat again. Come to that neutral tabletop. Inhale, look forward, arch your back, coming into cow. Let your heart shine forward. Exhale, round your back, look toward your belly button. Inhale, forward. Exhale, cat. Pressing your hands and your knees into the mat. Inhale, forward. As you bring your hands, working your hands and your knees closer to each other, you feel that slide on the mat. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to that neutral tabletop. Tuck your toes. Press your toes into the mat as you lift your knees and your hips up. Press your hips up toward the sky and then lower your heels to the mat, coming to your downward facing dog.
Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, stack your hips. Straighten the leg back up to three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, swing your knee through to touch your right elbow. Exhale back to three-legged, or inhale back to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to elbow. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to elbow. Three-legged dog. Exhale, this time knee to opposite elbow, so your right knee touches your left elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. And set your foot back on the mat. Coming to your downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Open back up to three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, swing your knee through to touch your left elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to elbow. Three-legged dog. Knee to elbow. Three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow, so your knee comes through to touch your right elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. And set your foot on the mat, coming back to your downward facing dog. We'll start our flow. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your right elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Back to three-legged dog. And swing your foot through all the way. Set your foot on the mat in between your hands. Stay up on your back toes. Heel is lifted. Keep your front knee bent. Inhale your arms up into crescent lunge. Your crescent lunge is back leg is straight. Heel is up over your toes. Bring your hands to your hips today. And rotate those hips forward so they're squared to the front of the mat. You can feel your thighs pressing into each other. Keep this front knee stacked over the ankle. Inhale your arms back up overhead. Set the back heel on the mat, turning your toes so you're facing the side. And bring your hands out in either direction, coming into warrior two. Straighten the front leg, turn the heels or the toes so they're facing the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips, coming all the way forward. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Then grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale to a flat back, exhale, fold. Inhale back to a flat back. Turn your body to face the front of the room. Hands on either side of your left foot. Step back to plank, lower to chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale your knee to your left elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to right elbow. Back to three-legged dog. And swing your foot all the way through, setting your foot in between your hands. Stay up on your back toes. Inhale your arms up into crescent lunge. Bring your hands down to your hips again. Rotate those hips forward so they're squared to the front of the mat. Keep this back leg straight with heel over your toes. Bend into that front knee, knee over ankle. Inhale your arms back up overhead. Set the back foot on the mat so your toes are now facing the side of the mat, come into warrior two. Straighten your left knee, turn your left toes to face the side of the mat. Inhale, exhale, hinge at the hips, bringing your chest, torso all the way down, hands underneath your shoulders. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale to flat back, exhale, fold. Inhale back up to flat back. Walk your hands to the front of the mat. On either side of your right foot, step back to plank. Go to chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your right elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. And swing your foot all the way through in between your hands. Stay up on that back, the back toes. Inhale your arms up into crescent lunge. Warrior two. Turn to the side. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips all the way down. Grab onto your big toes. With your peace fingers, inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale back up to a flat back. Hands to your hips. Rise all the way up. Hands in either direction. Rotate your left toes so they're facing the side of the back of the mat. Bend into your left knee, coming into warrior two at the back of the mat. Straighten your left knee. Lean forward as much as you can and rotate your arms coming into triangle. Set your left hand on the mat on the inside. You can set it on your foot. You can set it above your ankle on your shin. Avoid placing it on your joints. Inhale, your chest up. Your right arm is up toward the ceiling. Think about stretching through the spine here to open up that chest. Let your heart shine up. Inhale. Exhale, place your left or right hand on the mat beside your left. And inhale, your left hand up toward the sky, coming into a twist. Again, think about stretching through that spine, lengthening through the spine. Look up, let your heart shine up. And it comes back down to the mat. Set your hands a little bit in front of your left foot. Pop your right foot up a little bit and start to work your way into your left foot as you lift your right up, coming into standing splits. Inhale to a flat back, exhale, fold. Working your chest and your head in closer to that shin. Think about lengthening through your spine here as you stretch your right foot up toward the ceiling. Work on rotating that foot in to avoid splaying out, keeping your hips in alignment. And set your foot back on the mat behind you. Step back to plank. Go to chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your left elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Three-legged dog. Exhale, send your foot through all the way. Set your foot between your hands. Rise up into crescent lunge. Warrior two. Turn your feet to the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bringing your chest all the way down, hands underneath your shoulders. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Breathe here. Inhale back up. Hands to your hips. Inhale all the way up. Bring your hands out to either side. Turn your right toes to face the front of the mat. Bend into that knee, coming into warrior two. Straighten your knee. Lean forward as much as you can and rotate the arms, bringing your right hand either down to the mat on the inside of your foot. You can place it on your foot, or you can place it on your shin. Avoid placing it on the ankle. Inhale, stretch that left hand up as you stretch through your spine, lengthen through your spine, and shine your heart shine up. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left hand down to the mat. Inhale your right hand up. As you come into this twist, again, think about lengthening through the spine and letting your heart shine up. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Set your hands a little bit in front of your right foot. Pop your left foot up. Start to bring your weight to your right foot as you lift your left, working to keep your hips in alignment. So keep that left foot rotated inward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold, bringing your head and chest in closer to your right shin. Set your left foot back on the mat behind you. Step back to plank. Lower to chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward dog. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to touch your elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Knee to opposite elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Swing your foot through all the way. Stay up on your back toes. Inhale up to crescent lunge. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Turn your toes to the side. Inhale. Exhale. Hinge at the hips. Bring all the way down. Immediately grab onto your big toes. Inhale to flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale back to that flat back with your hands under your shoulders, hands to your hips. Rise all the way up, hands out to the sides. Turn the left toes to face the back of the mat. Bend into your warrior two. Straighten the left knee, lean forward. Bring your left hand down, come into triangle. Right hand to the mat, left hand up into revolve triangle. Left hand down, hop the right foot up. Bring your hands out just a little bit in front of your left foot and start to rise up into your standing splits. If you're comfortable in your standing splits and you're ready to work on the next phase of balance, bring your right hand a little bit closer to your left foot and wrap your left hand around the back of your left ankle. Inhale to flat back and exhale. Bring your chin and head in closer to your shin so you stretch your right foot up toward the ceiling. Slowly set your right foot on the mat beside your left. So you're stepping it forward. Both feet are at the back of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands across the mat as you bend your knees and come into your chair. So here in chair, press your knees together. Bring your hips back a little bit more. Bend more into your chair. Chest is up, shoulders are moving, your ears and your arms are strong overhead. Inhale all the way up. Look up with your hands touching. Bring your hands down to your sides in mountain pose. Start to bring your weight to your left foot. As you lift your right, you can bring your hands to your hips. Coming into staff pose. So here in staff, you've got a 90-degree angle. You're going to bend in your hip, a 90-degree angle. In your knee, flex your right foot. Bend down, grab your big toe with your peace fingers, and straighten your knee, kicking that foot out in front of you. Bring your right shoulder back in line. Notice that you might want to pop it forward a little bit, bring it back. And swing it up to the side. Back to center. Bend the knee. Bring your hands out. We're going to bring our hands down by our sides for this one today, mostly because I don't have a lot of room in front of me. Start to bring your torso down as you kick your right foot back, coming into warrior three. Keep your right foot flexed. Keep that foot rotated in to keep your hips in alignment. Stretch your head forward and your foot back. And back becomes that T shape. I might look a little awkward here because I've got a wall. That's okay for today. Then lower your hands all the way to the mat and come back into your standing splits. You've been here before. You know where you're going. You can keep both hands on the mat, or you can work on that wrap around your left foot. Set both hands on the mat. Step your right foot back behind you. Step back to plank. Lower the chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your elbow. Inhale back to two-legged dog. Exhale, meet the opposite elbow. Back to three-legged dog. And exhale, swing your foot all the way through in between your hands. Rise up into crescent lunge. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Turn it to the side. Inhale. And exhale, hinge at the hips all the way down. Immediately grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back up. Hands to your hips. Rise all the way up. Bring your hands out to the sides in either direction. Rotate the right foot toward the front of the mat. Come into your warrior two. Straighten the front knee, lean forward, come into triangle. Inhale. Exhale, the left hand down. Inhale, the right hand up. Both hands down to the mat. Set them a little bit in front of your right. Pop your left foot up and start to come into your standing splits. And here, if you're ready, you can take the wrap, wrapping your right hand around the back of your right foot. Continue to rotate that left foot in, keeping your hips in alignment. Inhale to flat back and exhale, fold, bringing your shin or your head and your chest in closer to your shin. And set your left foot on that, swinging it all the way through, stepping it next to your right. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep your hands across the mat, and come up into chair pose. Keep your chest up, shoulders down, away from your ears. The arms are strong here. Inhale brings you all the way up. Look up as your palms touch. And exhale, your hands down through your heart center to your sides, coming into mountain pose. Bring your hands to your hips. Start to bring your weight to your right foot. Lift your left up into staff. You have that 90-degree angle here in your hip and in your knee. Keep your left foot flexed. Bend down, grab a big toe with your peace finger. Pull the foot in close to your body first, making sure you have a good solid stance here in your balance, and then kick your foot forward. Straightening that leg. Swing it out to the side as your right hand comes out to the other side for counterbalance. Bring it back to the center. Come back to staff. Both hands overhead first and then down by your sides. Then mountain pose. Well, in a staff mountain pose. Start to bring your torso forward as you kick your left foot back, coming into warrior three. So stretch your head and torso one direction as your foot stretches the other. Keep your left foot flexed. Bring your hands all the way down to the mat. So your hands are just out in front of your right foot and come back into your standing splits. You've been here before. You know what to do, so you can take the wrap or keep your both hands on the mat. Point your toes as you come into these splits. They were flexed in warrior three, and here in standing splits, you want to point your toes. Slowly lower your left foot all the way down to the mat and back of you. Step back to plank or to chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your right elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your foot through all the way in between your hands. Rise up into crescent lunge. Warrior two. Bring both feet to the side. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips all the way down. Immediately grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale back up. Hands to your hips. All the way up. Hands out to the sides in either direction. Turn the left foot towards the back of the mat. Bend into warrior two. Straighten that left knee. Lean forward. Come into triangle. Right hand down to the mat. Left hand up. To revolved triangle. Left hand down to the mat. Bring your hands out a little bit in front of your left. Hop your right foot up. And work on coming into your standing splits. Whichever variation you choose. And slowly bring your right foot to meet your left at the back of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands across the mat as you bend into your chair. Sit a little bit deeper. Bring your hands down by your sides. And come all the way up into mountain pose. Start to bring the weight to your left foot as you lift your right up into staff. Bend down, grab your big toes with your peace fingers. Straighten your foot out in front of you. And swing it out to the side. Also bringing your left out to the side and out to balance. Bring it back forward in front of you. Bend your knee. Bring your hands down by your sides. And start to come forward, bringing your torso forward as you bring your right foot back. Keep the foot flexed as you come into warrior three. Hands all the way down to the mat. Come into your standing splits. Set your right foot back behind you, all the way down to the mat. Bend into your left knee and rise up into crescent lunge. Set your right knee on the mat and tuck your toes, coming into this low lunge. Hands down to the mat on either side of your left foot. Here, start to bring your hips up over your right knee as you straighten your left foot, coming into half splits. So here's where we're going to start working into full splits. But first, come into half splits. And you can stay here in half splits if you want, and if you're ready, you can work on getting into full splits with me, and I'll walk you through that. So here in half splits, make sure your front toe or your left toes are flexed. You can inhale and exhale, fold over your half splits to work the hips a little bit more. If you're ready to go into full splits, come up on your hands, start to wiggle your left foot forward. You may need to wiggle your right foot back a little bit, depending on where you're at on your mat. Don't come all the way down, stay up. Bring if you have a block or a pillow or whatever you have with you, maybe a jar that you can use. You have two of them on either side. That's going to help you the most. Put them on either side of you so they're in line with your, just in front of your hips. Here, what we're working on is trying to keep our hips squared. So our hips should still be facing the front of the mat. And this is perfect for me because I'm actually super tight this week and can't seem to get all the way down, which happens sometimes, and that's completely fine. So as you work into your full splits, I'm going to give you a couple variations you can use to help you work more into your full splits. Keep the front toes flexed, and keep the back foot, this leg that's back behind you, you want to keep it straight so you're still, your hips are still squared to the front of the mat. Use your hands to stay up on your blocks. And you can, if you have blocks, you can do them at different heights depending on where you're at in your splits. And then as you get better, you can start to lower them until you're able to go all the way down. Another really good way to work on your splits is to take a block or a pillow and place it just under the upper thigh of that front leg. And you can do that at different heights as well. And then as you start to feel better in your splits, you can move your height down and start to work closer to the mat. That's all we're going to do in our full splits today. So if you're in full splits, work your left foot back in closer to your body, and maybe scoot your right a little bit more forward. Place both hands at the top of your mat. Step back to plank, over to chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing the knee through to meet your left elbow. Come back to three-legged dog. Swing your knee through to meet your opposite elbow. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your foot through, all the way through, in between your hands. Keep up on your back toes and rise up into crescent lunge. So here you'll notice in crescent lunge, you've got the scissoring of the legs. Your hips are forward, so you're squared to the front of the mat. You're feeling that same sensation in your hips and your thighs and in your full splits. Go into warrior two. Come to the side. Inhale. Exhale all the way down, hinging at the hips. Grab onto your big toes immediately. Inhale and exhale, fold. Inhale brings you back up. Hands to your hips. Come all the way up. Hands out to the sides. Rotate the right foot forward. Come into warrior two. Straighten the right knee, lean forward, come into triangle. Left hand down, right hand up into revolve triangle. Right hand down, both hands a little bit in front of the right foot. Pop the left foot up and come into your standing splits, whichever variation works for you. And if you fall out, totally fine. That is why we call it a practice. Bring both hands back to the ground. Step your left foot to meet your right at the front of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands across the mat and bend your knees coming into chair. Bend a little deeper into your chair. All the way up to standing, hands down by your sides. Lift your left knee up into staff. Bend down, grab your big toes with your peace fingers. Kick your foot forward, straightening the leg. Swing it out to the side. As you bring your right hand out to the other side for counterbalance. Back to the center. Come back to staff. Hands up overhead and then down by your sides. Just kick your left leg back, keeping the foot flexed as you come into warrior three. Hands all the way down. Come back into your standing splits. Set your left foot on the mat behind you. Rise up into crescent lunge. Set your left knee down, untuck your toes, coming into a low crescent. Hands down to the mat. Start to straighten your right knee as you bring your hips up over your left knee. Flex the right toes, coming into your half splits first before we move into full splits. So here, keep the toes flexed. Your hips are still squared to the front of the mat. Inhale to flat back, exhale, fold. And you'll notice one side is definitely more flexible than the other. My right side is less flexible than my left, so I can't seem to bend down as low, but that's okay. You still keep working toward it. And if you want to follow me in full split, start to wiggle that right foot out in front of you, depending on how much room you have. If you need to wiggle your left back, work to keep the hips in alignment, squared toward the front of the mat. So you're not coming all the way down. You'll still have a gap here between your thighs and the mat, and that's what you want, because if you go all the way down right away, you could hurt something, and we definitely don't want that. Bring your blocks or jars or whatever you have and bring them just a little bit in front of your hips so they're in line more with your thighs, and use those to help prop yourself up. Keep your hips squared to the front of the mat. Bring your chest up, belly in toward your spine. And of course, when you're ready, as you work through this practice and continue to do it more and more, you can start to work your hands down, and eventually you'll be able to come all the way down to the mat. Like I said, after not doing yoga for 5 days over the weekend, I became very tight, so can't quite get down there right now, so that's totally fine. Some days are better than others, and we work with what we got. Set your blocks aside and start to bring your right foot in. Maybe you need to bring your left front forward a little bit more. Bring your hands to the front of the mat. Step back to plank. Lower to chaturanga. Upward dog. And downward dog. And that was our 3 splits flow. No more splits for the rest of the practice. Yay! It was a lot of splits. I'm sure you feel it in your thighs, especially your inner thighs. Maybe you feel it a little bit in your glutes and your hips. Before we end the practice, let's do a good cool down. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. And exhale, swing your knee through to meet your opposite elbow. Straighten the leg, set the foot on the mat, and inhale your left hand up, opening up the chest. Your left foot will rotate out a little bit as you come into this. Push your hips up and bring your left hand back down to the mat. Step your right foot back. Come back to downward facing dog. Inhale your left foot up. Exhale, swing your knee through to meet your opposite elbow. Straighten the leg, set the foot on the mat. Rotate that right foot out a little bit as you open up your right, but to the right side, bringing your right hand up toward the ceiling. Press your hips up and lower your hands back to mat, step back to plank, and come into downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your right knee to meet your right wrist and your right ankle to meet your left wrist. Lean over onto your right side as you swing your left foot around and set your left shin on top of your right. So here, as you come into this full pigeon posture, you want to make sure your joints are stacked. So you've got knee over ankle and ankle over knee. If this is really uncomfortable for you, come into that comfortable seated position that we were at in the beginning of class. Make sure your left knee is on top. So that means that your left ankle will be tucked underneath your right knee. And that will help you in the setup for the opposite side. Inhale your hands up overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips as you bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Walk your hands forward, keeping that straight spine. When you can come no farther, relax into the pose. Full pigeon is one of my favorites. Half pigeon's good, but I love full pigeon. I love the way it feels in my hips, the way it opens everything up. Bring your hands back into, or walk your hands back into your legs. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Bring your left knee in toward your chest and set your shin on the mat. And then set your right shin on top of your left. So here, you've got opposite leg on top. If you're coming into that comfortable position, your right ankle will be underneath your left knee, and your right knee will be on top of your left ankle. Flex your feet. Inhale your arms up overhead and exhale, hinging at the hips. As you come down, walk your hands forward. Come as far as you can, and you can come no farther, relax into the pose. Walk your hands back into your legs. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Let's widen our legs today. So come as wide as you can with your legs. Flex your toes toward the ceiling. Keep your toes flexed and activate the muscles in your thighs to help bring your heels up off the mat a little bit. So if you are really activated, your heels are lifting, you can set them back down. That's the same sensation that you want to feel as we come into this pose. Really activate the muscles in your thighs to help keep your toes pointed up and to help you hinge at the hips. That will help you come into this bend a little bit more. It's very similar when we're in a forward fold and standing. You work on pressing your hips up. That activates the thighs and helps you get into the fold a little bit deeper. So activate your thighs, keep the toes pointed up, and exhale as you walk your hands forward, hinging at the hips. Walk your hands forward, inhale, exhale, walk your hands more forward, and continue to do that until you get to where you feel you can go, where you feel like you're ready to stay. And you can hold for a little bit, for a few breaths, and then walk more forward. Depends on how you're feeling in this pose today. And slowly come all the way up. Bring your feet back to touch. Point your toes, bring your hands behind your glutes with your fingertips pointed toward your glutes. Press your hands into the mat as you lift your hips up, working to get your the soles of your feet all the way down to touch the mat. Continue to press your hips up, and then slowly lower your hips all the way down to the mat. Bring your back all the way down to the mat. Before we end today, let's do a little bit of back bend. Bend your knees into your chest and set your feet on the mat. So they're just behind your glutes. Reach your palms down. Make sure you can touch your heels with your fingertips. Press your palms into the mat. Lift your hips up into bridge. And if you want to stay in bridge, go ahead and interlace your fingers, press your palms together. Continue to press up. If you want to go into wheel, lower all the way down. Bring your hands back by your ears with your fingertips pointed toward your shoulders, elbows up. Press your palms into the mat. And first, maybe come to your head and then rise all the way up into wheel. And slowly lower down, back to your head, and then all the way to your back. Bridge, come out as well, all the way to your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Place your feet back on the mat, windshield wiper your legs, either direction, 3 times. Straighten your left leg out. Hug your right knee into your chest. Grab the outside of your right knee with your left hand. Pull your leg up over your body to the left side. Look to the right. Bring your right arm out to the side. Keep the right shoulder on the mat. Bring your right knee back into center. Straighten the leg. Hug your left knee into your chest. Grab the outside of your left knee with your right hand. Pull up over your body to the right. As you look to the left, bring your left end out to the side. Keep your left shoulder on the mat. Bring your left knee back into center. Straighten both legs. Hug both knees into your chest. Rotate the knees out. Let the soles of the feet touch and place them on the mat, coming into a reclined cobbler's pose. Set one hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart. Take a deep inhale. Sigh it out. Close your mouth and inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And come back to your normal breathing. Straighten your legs out on your back. Let them fall wide. Be as wide as your mat. Let your toes fall out. Hands down by your sides with your palms face up. Make any adjustments that you may need to in your shoulder blades to come to a comfortable position here in your Shavasana. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Come back to your normal breathing and let your body relax here for a few minutes. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists, and your ankles. Before movement to your limbs. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll onto your side, coming into a fetal position. Whichever hand is farthest away from the floor, press that hand into the mat to help yourself rise all the way up. Keeping your eyes closed, come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Bring your hands to heart center in prayer. And as we end our practice today, thank yourself for this practice. Thank yourself for showing up on your mat today. Thank yourself for your movement. Thank your body for your movement. Thank your lungs for their breath. And I thank you for joining me in this practice, for allowing me to share this movement, this moving meditation with you. The light in me honors, respects, and loves the light in you. Namaste. Whew, how was it? We haven't done that one for a while. And I definitely felt it. We only have 3 more practices left. That seemed harder than it should have been today. You know, I agree. I'll be honest. I agree. It was a little bit harder than I expected it to be. And I don't know if it's just because we haven't done it for a while, or I think my body's super tight this week. I'm not really sure. But I'm right there with you. It did seem a lot harder today. But we did it, and that's what matters. We did it. All right, it is. So next practice will be Monday. And then we'll have Wednesday and Friday, and then no more practices until December, or at least no live practices. But you'll have all the videos on here that you can do.
And I'll put next week's full schedule up today, probably after this. And then I'll continue to do the reminders throughout the week as well. But I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you're doing something fun. And I will see you Monday.